back to Markets Today. I'm your host, Mbithe Mwema. It's Wednesday, and here on Markets Today, we don't like to call it Ladies' Night. Instead, we call it an afternoon with ladies in technology. With us in studio, we are joined by Engineer Milka, who is a director at Tysoden Limited. She is an engineer by virtue of her background, but she uses technology, or at least leverages on technology to run her business. Karibu sana, Engineer Milka.
Asante.
All right, so tell us about your business. What does your business do?
Our business, I run a solar company. It's an energy and engineering company.
All right.
We model energy solutions to our clients based on technology. We aim to have our clients enjoying more of the technology, therefore they can be able to lower running costs and enjoy their profits more.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so when you say energy company, what does that mean? Do you sell panels? Do you sell solutions? What exactly do you sell, and who would be your typical client?
When I mean energy is we majored on solar energy. So energy solutions, we are able to harness energy from the sun. That's the basic concept. You know, the sun is free.
Yes.
So you can be able to harness energy from the sun, and then you can be able to run all operations. So our typical client would be, it cuts across so many industries, from a farmer, because you can be off grid as a farmer and still be able to run your incubators and do farming, you know, and do your borehole even on solar purely.
How would you do that? Please describe that. That's very interesting. How would you, if I wanted to do farming or a borehole, how would I use your services to facilitate that in my absence?
Suppose you wanted to facilitate that in your absence. Let's take an example of, you know, a farmer, and you want to do something like a borehole. So you'd have your borehole drilled, then we run it on solar. We can have apps that will be able to manage energy monitoring apps, so you can be able to see the kind of energy you're using and everything. And then if it's the water, you can still have the water is metered for you, so you can be able to monitor, this is the much output I've been having, and this is what it's been doing, all the way to, we also do CCTV surveillance. So when it comes to your produce, you can still be able to monitor from the farm to this is what has been in my farm, this is what has come, and this is what I'm giving out to the market, even in your absence. Therefore your profits run in your presence or absence. And this is something that has encouraged so many, because you are able to invest even if you're not a full-time in whatever, if it's farming, you know, you can be working wherever you're working, you have your farm running, and you can still be able to monitor and manage.
Oh, that's fantastic. How would I do that? I want to come back to this example, because I'm getting, people keep talking about agriculture, and they say they lose a lot of money. So when you talk about creating the opportunity to monitor, so am I downloading an app? Are you coming to put sensors in my farm? What's the actual product?
The actual product, we will have some apps in your phone. They will actually be, so the systems will install in your farm. And then now we will have the apps running in your phone, from energy monitoring apps to, you know, the surveillance of the cameras in your phone. You'll be able to monitor them from your phone. If you're interested in just selling water, all those, the apps will be in your phone. So the systems will be installed to wherever the actual farm is, or it's the borehole. Oh, wow, that's fantastic. So if you don't mind me asking, how long have you been running this company for, and what's your background? We've been running this company for an year. My background, I'm an electrical engineer, and I'm a director at Tysoden Limited. My background is engineering, and I love energy. I'm passionate about energy. I believe it's the core in development. Actually, what makes Nairobi better than probably some other places, it's because we've got access to energy. Therefore, you can have lighting, and so the city can run almost throughout the night, because the access to energy is easier than probably other places. How about that place that could be off-grid? They can take the advantage of maybe solar energy, and then they can be able to have light up in the city or in the marketplace, and so they can increase even their running hours, and this would mean more development to them. And this is how they can take advantage of technology. And it runs in very many sectors, including you see, when someone is running a business, the main thing is sometimes the running cost goes too high, and so the profits are low. So every person is looking into, how can I efficiently do what I do, but with lower production cost, or lower running cost. If you're doing something like a spa, and you're wondering, what do I exactly do, because I would love my cost to be lower, so that my profit margins can be higher. So you find that someone is now looking at the main thing in a spa is the warm water, the hot water, and someone does, when you shift to solar, the initial investment might be high because you'll have the solar water heaters installed for you initially when you're setting up. But once you pay that, or the return in about 2 years or 3, depending with how aggressive your company is running, then the rest of the time that will be profits. Because however much, some of these things are also running during the day. Solar takes advantage of the sun, so it's during the day. So most, like a spa, will run during the day, probably up to 10 p.m.
Yes, it will.
And you see, solar water heaters will be able to keep your water hot up to that time. So you see, you'll not be incurring a lot of bills on electricity. Therefore, you'll have more returns at the end of the month.
All right. So in that case of a spa, I would imagine that you would go and set up solar panels, and then also set up the apps and the connectivity for the person who runs the spa to be able to track and monitor.
Yes. Now, in an example of a spa, it's not too complicated. We just set, because basically in a spa, it's water. The rest are the cosmetics and everything. Those will be constant. So if it's the solar water heaters, we'll set the solar water heaters in very user-friendly systems. And then now we can do the CCTV camera surveillance for you, so that you can be able to do monitoring. That's not monitoring of energy, monitoring of the operations. Just the operations. Yes.
All right. And are your solutions, so do you build them here? Are you building the apps? Are you building the solar panels? Or are you leveraging on global technology and then sort of making it applicable to the domestic market?
We are making it applicable to the domestic market. Basically, we are not doing the manufacturing of this. So we are partnering with, if it's the manufacturing companies, if it's the people who are doing the manufacturing, we just offer the solution. So we are able to do the design. That's where the key is. We're able to do the design and offer you the solution. We look into what business or what are you looking to run. Is it a farm? Is it a spa? Is it a factory? And then what are your energy needs? How many hours do you run a day? What is your peak time? All that. So we monitor that, and now we design a solution for you, and then we give you the solution. Yes. Fantastic. And we journey with you. And
then you journey with the client.
Yes.
I'm very curious to take a step back and ask, engineer, so how does your work day look like? How does your typical work day when you walk in? What do you focus on? Because your background is in electrical engineering, and now you're leveraging the use of technology. So you have global partners, and then you are creating now a route to market. So you're distributing this solution to the local market. So how would your typical then work day look like?
My typical work day looks like, I get into the workplace, and the first thing I do is plan out. So I plan out, what do I want to do in this day, or which kind of systems would I want to design. Then I do the design of the systems, probably now also get in touch with the clients and get to offer the solutions. If this goes for you, someone would say, maybe I would love this, this. So we model until we come to the point where it gives them an optimal. Yes.
All right, fantastic. Then also just tying in with this story, because I'm trying to get to the point of, you have a business and you have seen an opportunity, but just trying to understand your background. So you have studied electrical engineering. Did you work before in a similar space, or did you just see this opportunity? How did this opportunity evolve?
Basically, I'm passionate about energy.
Yes, because I can see that.
Right from when I was in school, actually I did my internships in the energy sector. I've done an internship with KPLC, I've done an internship with Kengen. I've also worked slightly in a solar company before. So I was so passionate about energy, because as far as I'm concerned, it's basic, it's core in development, be it in the education sector, hospital, wherever, it's energy. Because if a hospital has got power, then it can be able to run even 24/7, even if it's a hospital or a small healthcare center in a rural place. They can be able to even run their maternity services 24/7 if they have the access to energy. And so I was looking forward to, how can I get to achieve this, and that's when we came up to with solar energy, because we can be able to have it all over anywhere. You don't need to be connected to the grid to access solar energy. You can stand out from wherever you are. We have even powered a resort it's off grid, it's in a place where there isn't power near, and this person was looking forward to a business where he can be running, especially on holidays, having people come into that place and have a good time. So we were able to offer such a solution to such a person. So basically it's generating energy from what is accessible. The sun is accessible to, we are in the sub-Saharan, the sun is accessible to everyone every day.
When it rains for a few minutes, but then there's more sunshine.
And because there has been a lot of technological advancements even in the products that we use, that's the solar panels, the inverters, or all those gadgets. Like previously you would hear people say when it's so rainy we can't access the power when it's solar energy. Right now you have panels that are able to harness even from sunlight, not just sun heat.
All right, fantastic. So based on that, over the last 2 weeks, Engineer Milka, the conversation has been KPLC versus solar. How do we look at that opportunity, and how does technology then play into that particular opportunity?
So in the solar energy sector now, in that light of KPLC, we are not competitors. We are players in the energy sector. So we join our hands together in making power accessible to Kenyans, you know, if it's Kenya, or to East Africans, rather to the consumer. So we are both players in the energy sector. There is what KPLC can do, and there is what probably they can't be able to do. There is what solar can do, and there's probably what it can't be able to do. And so when we come together, we can be able to achieve more. Fantastic. So you're a supplementary, like you're not really taking the place of KPLC, you're just providing to a different captive market, so to speak. To a different captive market. You would see that like, let me just give you an example of someone who is off grid. Let's say you have a person A is in a place where there are no electricity, there's no electricity, and the grid power is too far off. It would be typically very expensive to both the power provider company and to this person to have power transmitted all the way to their home. Unlike people who are many, like your neighbor has electricity, it's so easy to pull it to your home. But suppose you're in that place where it's so far, you see, it would be so expensive, so solar becomes a solution for you. However, there are also people who are still accessing grid, but then their running costs are high because of probably the machinery that they are running, and because it's business for them, they look forward to lowering their cost. So they access solar. We do install solar for them, and so the solar power is able to run what they have been running with grid power, but now with lower cost, because the initial capital for solar might be high, but you're able to pay off the returns within 2 to 3 years to a maximum of 5 years, depending with how efficient your operations could be. Then from that time henceforth, you're having just profits. Wow. So there's, I think that the opportunity set is very clear. Now let me come back to the element of now technology and the business. So you say you have been running this business for a year. When people do their analysis of businesses and the amount of time and energy it needs to start from scratch, it normally takes a bit of time. But in terms of what you're talking about, your customers and your output, you do sound like you've done a lot. You actually sound like a mature business, like 5-7 years into the making. So what has been the role of technology in your particular business model as a consumer and also as a seller of the technology options? The role of technology has been making my work easier, efficient, and faster, and also making it reliable to my consumers. Because when you embrace technology, something that you would have accessed with pretty much of time, you can access it with less of time. Something that would have required physical monitoring, traveling from here to Malindi to go monitor a system, you can now monitor it remotely. So now it's more efficient and faster. And how did you learn about these applications that would actually help you create a business model leveraging on technology? Was it research? Was it based on your work experience? Was it you knew people who were using it? Or did you just look at the world as your oyster and go and explore and come up with a solution and localize it? Basically, it's been about exploration. You know, with the engineering background, there is that interest that is inbuilt. Then the rest is exploration, and somehow God brings people your way.
So you end up with the right partners, and then pushing out the product, also leveraging on technology.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. That's a very interesting conversation. I think we can take a very quick break. Then when we come back, then we can focus now on the the element of technology, because we are in COVID-19, business models are changing. So I'd like to hear your perspective in that particular regard. So we are having a conversation on technology. We are joined by Engineer Milka, who's telling us about the opportunity set that technology has presented for her, first and foremost as a company, as well as a business opportunity for her to get global technology, to localize it and be able to provide a solution to the local market. What are you doing when it comes to technology? I know it's a Women in Technology show, but it's not really about women. It's just about showcasing the opportunity set with technology. What would you like to know? Do you have any specific questions for Engineer Milka? We would like to hear your voice. Our SMS line 20146, or you could reach out to us, that's at Metropole TV or at Mbithe Mwema on social media. We will see you after the brief break.